And there's a beautiful aesthetic to them and a really nice weight to them. And I thought, there's maybe something here in sport. One of the dads bought this young boy one of the coins, and he genuinely just treasures it. He's looked after it ever since.
Welcome to Football Business TV for the next edition of Let's Get Engaged. I'm delighted to be joined by Andrew Reith, the founder and CEO of Zenith Coins. Andrew, how are we?
I'm good, mate. Good, mate. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Always good to catch up as always, and been looking forward to this one. As you know, it's a business very, very dear to my heart. Not as close as it is to yours, but certainly one that I'm very fond of. We'll jump straight in and we talk all things Zenith over the next half an hour or so. Everyone wants to know that I speak to about Zenith, and everyone's interested because we're all football people at heart, and I think we're all, kids and collectible fans at heart. If you're a part of the game, for sure. What inspired you to create Zenith Coins? Did you see a gap in the market? Was it a child love affair that spilled into adulthood and the career path? How did that come around?
Strangely, it was by necessity. In a strange world, I was living in the south of France. My goodness, 5.5 years ago, during COVID, and moved back to Scotland. The whole industry where I was living fell through, and a good friend of mine, Alistair Spence, he's a pilot in the RAF, and he would send me these challenge coins, military challenge coins from all his operational tours in Middle East, Africa, you name it, and I would get all these through, and they'd be in the drawer. And there's a beautiful aesthetic to them and a really nice weight to them. And I thought, there's maybe something here in sport. And that's when I looked into it a little bit further, and I found an incredible environment where sport can be treasured through coins. And my very first club that we signed up with was, in fact, very first organisation we signed up with was the British and Irish Lions, which gave us the foothold and the credibility in that industry.
Yeah, and I've seen the lovely piece that you produced for them. Actually, I think it was in Amsterdam earlier this year that you showed me. That was a huge collectible piece, which I'm not a big rugby fan, as you know, but lovely to see that. Fan engagement as an industry, I guess, has really evolved since, certainly since we were younger. And what do you think in terms of the rapid change of fan engagement? What does that mean to you personally?
Fans are a lot closer to football clubs now. They're seeing a lot more content on social media. They're seeing a lot more from the clubs themselves. They've got content creators. There's all these different social media platforms. So there's almost a connection there that once you've set the benchmark, you have to keep that engagement continuous and keep it consistent. What we've found is that fans like to look after their club. They need something to treasure, and whether it be a shirt, whether it be a keyring from back in the 1990s when they had their very first whatever club keyring. But now we've incorporated a market where we can actually have a purpose-built product dedicated to a certain anniversary, certain player, event, a moment. The reaction we get worldwide is incredible. I mean, we work with over 400 organizations globally, all based in Australasia, Europe, UK, and again across Americas. And the reactions from the clubs themselves and the fans has just been superb.
Yeah, I've not met anybody that said anything negative about the business or product since we've been talking over the last couple of years. So obviously onto a good thing. Going back to the start, how important was your personal connection to sport and football in shaping the company's mission?
Yeah, it's a huge passion of mine. I was a football coach prior. I played at a very, very, very low level. I never made that at all. I always wanted to become a professional footballer, but some of the skill and dedication. Say again?
Didn't we all?
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you something, it gave me a path into football coaching. Really enjoy the tactics and the coaching side of things. From the personal point of view, I really enjoy just the environment that sport brings. There's that synergy within the fans. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. Doesn't matter if it's a high or low moment. There's that collective feel. So no, on the personal side of things, this is an environment I really want to be involved in. I'm very lucky. Every single day I wake up, this is the environment I just genuinely love. Working with every sort of club imaginable, from grassroots all the way up to elite level with Arsenal, Rangers, Celtic, Chelsea, Benfica, and it's a very, very fortunate position we're in just now.
Yeah, I think you've earned that fortunate position, mate. You guys produce something tangible and collectible, and something as a kind of from a keepsake perspective will stand the test of time. Why do you think that physical memorabilia still resonates so strongly with, in particular, football fans in a kind of increasingly digital world?
We've obviously, over the past couple of decades, we're transitioning into a digital era, which is, unquestionable. I mean, everything that you do is digital. And there was an element of we're losing the physical element to memorabilia, though the NFTs were coming out and looking after the club and maybe just certain collectibles online. But what we have is something a little bit more robust, aesthetically pleasing, and we will get onto this very shortly, but we now have a digital aspect to our coins as well. So we can actually tap the coins with a mobile device and access digital content from there, which is very, very exciting across all different departments within the football community, whether it be retail, corporate, hospitality, events, fan engagement. Our coins and our merchandise can service quite a lot of different areas.
Yeah, it's very clever how you've managed to stay relevant in this world, but also retain, the old school nostalgic feel of something tangible that you can, touch, feel, and show off. I think it's incredibly important. One of the things that I find difficult to process is kind of, how do you decide what to feature on a coin, for example, when you're looking at that kind of digital integration, and lots of the work you guys do are based around milestones or anniversaries. Is that
Yeah.
something you work on with the club or organization? Is it something you're allowed to go away and get creative on and come up with?
So we've got 3 designers in house. Very, very creative environment. Everything on the walls of ours. To turn the screen around, you see even more whiteboards and a lot of design ideas.
Yeah.
We work in collaboration with the club. So their brand guidelines, we look after whatever the theme may be, anniversaries, testimonials, promotions, champions, very, very obvious collectibles in that sense. Now, obviously, Scotland have qualified for the World Cup. We have the license with the Scottish Football Association, and I was up from 3 a.m. Sober, by the way. I was sober.
I was going to say, had you been to bed?
And I just couldn't stop thinking about that amazing game from start to finish. We spoke earlier about the rendition of Flower of Scotland. I mean, from start to finish, it was just drama all the way through. And I thought, what can we do to help the Scotland fans treasure that moment? That feeling of actually qualifying. It's 28 years since we've qualified. Yeah. So it means something. So let's create a product that means something to them as well. That in the next 30 years, hopefully it's not that long, but they'll showcase to their children and so on where they were, what they were doing at that point. So we've created a McTominay overhead kick coin. So gold plated, limited to 2,025 units, the year of the goal. And it's incredible. I mean, literally our website is just on a consistent traffic right now, and sales are going through. But we've even created a McTominay spinning pin badge. So actually McTominay himself spins on the badge. But this is it. It's all about having fun with the product, having fun with the fans, and just, being creative. and allowing that. And we luckily, Stephen Romeo of the SFA, he's on board with a lot of things we do. He sometimes slaps our wrists occasionally and says, no, bring it back down a tier. But we will go full spectrum in terms of trying to offer as many different options as possible to any organization.
Yeah, it makes sense. Lots of, I would say all, but it's probably most at least of the coins that you guys produce are kind of official club merchandise or official club coins. How do those partnerships in general come about, and what do clubs look for specifically in these collaborations? Is it about producing content? Is it about engagement, or retail in terms of revenue generating, or is it a combination of all of them?
Great question, because when I first started this business, it was not easy. There's no sales data driven by coins at all, and a lot of the clubs just weren't willing to give it a chance and give the concept and understand it and maybe feed it off the fans. So we took a lot of the responsibility. We would order the coins ourselves in their first 2 years. So there's a lot of risk in ourselves, but I believed in the product so much that I thought once the fans have one coin, they'll move on to the second and third, fourth, depending on what that theme is. I'll mention a couple of clubs just now, but Blackpool and Notts County, tremendous two clubs with fan bases, and they're selling out almost immediately. My goodness me, Wrexham Football Club did a back-to-back-to-back promotion coin, and staggering. We upped the limit from their previous back-to-back coin, and they still went instantly. But clubs, even without global appeal, what we have, we'll talk about Green at Morton just now, is the 150th anniversary. They sold out their coin within a week, a gold-plated coin on that side. And they never knew they had a market for a product like that before. So just trying to showcase the numbers now and building on more clubs. And they through word of mouth predominantly. We will approach a couple of clubs if there's maybe an anniversary coming up and suggest and propose an agreement. But yeah, generally word of mouth.
Which I would imagine is happening more and more now, right? I think every week I see a new coin on LinkedIn or on Instagram or something.
Yeah, it's my inbox is huge, but I get through it. I do get through it, and we've got a cracking team in at Zenith Coins, and we're all dedicated to different departments. I like to look after my clients personally, and look after the clubs, and then any design work is over to the project management team and design team on that side.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of leaving people alone to do the jobs that they're good at, and that way I don't get in their way, I think is probably the best way of describing it. You've not want to say recently, but you've partnered with Fan NFC to integrate technology and into the collectibles that you guys produce. How do you see the blend of physical and digital engagement moving forwards?
Oh, wait till you hear this one. Okay, so we've created a coin. I'll actually try and share an image after this. But yeah, we've created a keyring. Now, this keyring is for the Scotland fans heading over to the World Cup, or even at home, whether it be Glasgow, Edinburgh, wherever they're watching the games. But you can now tap onto that keyring and upload your World Cup memories. You can actually store your World Cup memories onto that keyring for life. So this is something I'm looking to roll out in 26, is for every football club to have their very own. It doesn't have to be dedicated around a certain event, but just their own football club keyring with NFC technology based off Zenith coins. You tap onto it and you have all those memories from all the games you go to, whether it's a FA Cup 400-mile trip or if it's just going to the home games with your family, and you can look after those memories in one place. We've got all the software, all the back end of that. So Fan NFC have been a phenomenal partner with us so far. We've got a lot of projects lined up for 26. I'm going to showcase something just now as well, which is our latest Christmas tree decoration. Football slightly. But this is exactly the same concept. So we have this kind of product available. Again, same system. Tap the decoration and you upload all your Christmas images and videos onto that
Yeah, very
decoration.
cool. I can see season ticket holders, having a 9-month story on a key ring, and have,
Yeah,
season 25, 26. I love that idea.
thank you.
You can have that one.
Oh, yeah, that's wicked. I'll take it.
How do you see it? I mean, technology is one of the things that is I find quite difficult to predict because it's so fast moving, right? I mean, who would have thought a couple of years ago we'd be integrating AI, for example, into kind of our everyday life, which we absolutely do now in business. What role do you see technology playing in the next few years in terms of fan engagement, and how do you think it's going to help the fans to connect with their clubs even more?
It has to be managed correctly because there's a lot of technology out there available, and it can get quite noisy at times. Some
Yeah,
fans can be overloaded with the amount of options of digital fan engagement that's out there. And it's just refining that. It's just making sure that there's a nice steady stream that's digestible for the fans. And this is where we've come in, hopefully, with our system is streamline the technology, and not making it overcomplicated. But I
yeah,
do think it's vital. It's what connects the entire world, whether you're an Arsenal fan based in Australia, US, or you're in London, you're all connected. And it's immediate as well. So when the club launch something, everyone's getting the same information at the same time.
yeah,
It doesn't matter what time zone. So fan engagement is key. It's a term that's used quite heavily, but it's trying to get under a couple of layers of what the fan engagement is. It's asking the right questions for the fan. What do they actually want from the club themselves? What would they like to see? And what makes them tick? But yeah, we've got some exciting opportunities in 26 to showcase some fan engagement products.
yeah. No doubt, you're ever evolving. uh, every club, as you've probably seen, you deal with clubs all over the world, as you said, they've got their own kind of heartbeat and community, and even its own culture in certain places. How do you capture the emotional connection through design and storytelling? Because I think that's probably one of the most difficult things to do, right? You can take a fan's feelings, but how are you actually going to portray that in what you do?
Yeah. So the aesthetic of the product is crucial. So it has to align with the club in question. So we can't use a different, say, Pantone of color. Otherwise, there's a slight difference in the
Yeah,
product itself connected with the club. The moment. We were looking at different anniversaries for different clubs. I mean, what was iconic moments for, say, Arsenal celebrating 140 years next year? What resonates with the fans? We did a 5 coin collection for Rangers Football Club. And we had to decide what the 5 key moments of Rangers 150 years were.
wow.
And that was done together. So it was not just a single person getting together. So we spoke to the historian, spoke to the club directors, spoke to the fan groups, and it was all relatively voted for internally. And then we decide on that side. But then it's the images. What's the iconic images?
Yeah,
So there's a
yeah.
lot of layers to it, but everything's thought about. It's not a case of just producing a product for the sake of it. We have to get to um, the real emotional aspect
Mm.
of the event.
Yeah. Talking of emotions, what's the best reaction you've seen from a fan to a Zenith coin product?
Wow, probably yours with your Soccer X behind you. To be fair,
Oh, I'll take that. And
um,
actually, while we're showing off products, you can probably see it just at the back there. Still sits
that's the one. That's
proudly
the
on
one.
on display over there.
Oh, best reaction from a fan. Oh my goodness. Do you know it was probably a 6-year-old boy outside Hampden Stadium, and we had heritage match coins. So it was the coin for the coin toss between England and Scotland 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago, and yeah, one of the dads bought this young boy one of the coins, and he genuinely just treasures it. He's looked after
Yeah.
it ever since. In fact, so much so, he put a little YouTube video up
Oh,
about
brilliant.
his coin, and he's collected a few ever since with the Scotland range. So we've started a collection for that young man. So yeah, that was probably the best one. So it was just seeing his face. He actually had this gold-plated Scotland coin that was effectively used, one of the replicas that was used for the coin toss. It was great.
Yeah, that's a brilliant story, and that's what the game's all about, I think. So you've managed to capture that really well. One of the difficult things to do, I guess, for you in a business like yours is how to balance the kind of commercial ambitions and goals with authenticity, or the club identity, making sure that the engagement feels genuine. We know there are lots of organizations out there that will use the term fan engagement for their own commercial gain. And how do you make sure that fans don't see what you do as just transactional?
Yeah, it's really having that conversation with the football club and looking after the fans. So we speak to fan forums before we put a lot of designs together. When it's on a license agreement, that's the discussions that we'll have. We'll reach out to maybe a couple of podcasts dedicated to a certain club and just float the idea past them and just say, listen, all the NDAs signed, all confidentiality agreements, and we just say, listen, what's your thoughts on this? Keep it in-house. And they come back with a little bit of feedback in terms of, well, this wasn't really what we were thinking in terms of the color range, maybe a bit more heritage. So that in itself is where we dedicate ourselves in terms of trying to find the base concept with each fan,
Yeah.
and what actually resonates with them. But we don't want to. And we have limited numbers, and we could easily just broaden our numbers extensionally to try and bring in as much money as possible. But we quite narrow it to maybe 100,000, 2,500, and keep it as narrow as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree. And ensuring that you're already working with those fans groups shows that you care about how the fans actually feel about the product, right? Not that they're just going to buy another product that's got the club crest on it, which
Yeah.
I know some people have certainly been victim of in the past. For maybe smaller clubs, we touched on some of the huge organisations you're working with, the Arsenals and Celtic and Rangers and SFA of this world. What's a piece of advice you'd maybe give some of the smaller clubs or smaller organisations in terms of strengthening fan relationships?
There's a lot of companies out there that produce merchandise, or there's a lot of clubs that will, how do I put this? They'll look for the greatest profit margin on products, and it's understandable, 100% understandable, because they're working on tight budgets. We've all seen it across low-level leagues, etc. The beauty of looking after the fan and having them come back in terms of fan engagement is the hospitality gifting, just making sure that there's a product there that shows the appreciation of the fan. It's not just there's a trinket to take home, be popped in the drawer and forgotten about. It's looking after them, again, not just in the merchandise way, but just even on a verbal communication, and actually having, looking after them as they walk in, make them feel appreciated on that side. So, taking all products out of it. And I know a lot of clubs do, because they look after the corporate sponsors, they look after the members that come through, but it's trying to encourage new business coming in, of which we do have an idea how to increase, which I'll share.
I'm sure you would. I think that the short answer is call Andrew at Zenith Coins, and he'll be able to help, I'm sure.
I've got a whiteboard filled with ideas, but it's all about just building community. I'm going to share one concept with you just now. Now no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I can't. I can't.
We'll wait for the press release. I thought we had an exclusive there.
Oh, I can't. Genuinely, I can't. But I will share it.
No pressure. When you look back in years to come, and you've sold Zenith or you've retired, and you look back on your career, what legacy do you hope that the Zenith brand leaves in the football world?
Premium collectibles, premium merchandise that is appreciated on every level within a football club, whether it be retail, corporate hospitality. Again, we mentioned the fan engagement. Innovation is key. I think we always have to be thinking about the future, not thinking the next 2-3 months, thinking next year, 2 years ahead. What are the changes within physical merchandise? What's the changes in the digital kind of components within that? And that's the where I'd like to leave it. Is just that Zenith is the go-to company for premium merchandise across every sports organisation.
Love that. Love the ambitions, and I've got no doubt that you'll get there. So a bit of fun to wrap it up, and I'm going to caveat it simply by saying that you can't say World Cup victory for Scotland in 2026. If
No,
you if you could
no.
produce one Zenith coin, your ultimate Zenith coin, what would that be?
Oh, I'd give away my football club. I'd give it away. Oh, goodness me. What would it be? Yeah, obviously Scotland World Cup winning, gold coin. But yeah, my ultimate would no. Yeah, my ultimate would be Glasgow Rangers Champions League winners 2026-27. But it's not happening.
If it does, I'll be sure to buy one myself.
No, Celtic friends will be winding me up evermore for that
Yeah,
one.
no,
But yeah,
no doubt. But it's the hope that kills you, as they say, and it's also the same thing that keeps you going, I think, in football, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Good man, Andrew. Listen, it's a Friday, so I'm sure you've got tons to do ahead of wrapping the week up. But as always, I've enjoyed catching up with you, mate, and talking all things Zenith, one of my favourite football-related products there is, as you know. And wish you all the luck in the world for the rest of the year and beyond. And hopefully, we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you very much, Pat. Appreciate it a lot, mate.